So azeotrope, you can define it. Azeotrope is the boiling mixture. We can't do distillation with the help of normal distillation method. Okay, so before going to discuss about the isotopes, I am going to discuss about the relative volatility. Okay, already I have discussed a little bit topic which is included in the JEE Advanced last 2 years. So try to understand just first the relative volatility. And I used to denote it as alpha AB. Okay, so if you are going to define alpha AB, that is equals to P naught of A upon P naught of B. P naught of A upon P naught of B. Okay, so partial saturation pressure of component A and divided by saturation pressure of component B. Okay, that will be called as the relative volatility. Okay, now understand one thing. Here, what is happening over here? If you can write it as alpha AB is equals to YA upon XA upon 1 minus YA upon 1 minus XA. Okay, if you will derive it from the Rolle's law that I have discussed. So you can write it as alpha AB is equals to YA upon 1 minus YA and 1 minus XA upon 1 minus XA. Okay, so this is the definition of relative volatility. Just understand one thing. See, what is the relative volatility? If a substance of having alpha AB is greater than 1, then component A is more volatile. Component A is more volatile. Okay, first point. Second point is, if component A is more volatile, then saturation pressure of P naught A is more as compared to P naught B. They will exert more vapor pressure in the vapor phase as compared to the component B. Okay, so that was the concept regarding the relative volatility. So if alpha AB relative volatility is tending to 1, then in that condition it will be very difficult to separate component A from component B by ordinary distillation technique. We can't separate it easily by ordinary distillation technique. So next topic comes over here, that what is the distillation, how we use to perform the distillation operation. Okay, so understand this thing. Distillation is a mass and heat and mass transfer phenomenon. They both are interrelating to each other over here. So I am just going to discuss what is distillation, how we perform distillation. Okay, this is not in your syllabus actually, but the definition used to come in the JEE Advanced usually. That's why I am going to discuss what is distillation. Okay, so distillation is the process of separating two or more components with the help of due to difference in their relative volatility or due to difference in their vapor pressure. Okay, so you can write it as the definition of distillation. The process separation of two or more than component due to difference in their relative volatility. Okay, due to difference in their relative volatility, matlab due to difference in the alpha AB. Okay, so just understand one thing. If alpha AB is greater than 1, then it will be very easy to separate component A from B. Okay, so just understand one thing. What is the meaning of relative volatility? Okay, volatility. What is the actual meaning of volatility? Already I am just discussing what alpha A is greater than 1. If alpha A is greater than 1, then partial pressure, saturation pressure of A is greater than saturation pressure of B. Means if in a flask, just I am assuming it as a flask, and you are heating the substance, okay, with the help of burner. Okay, this is a stand. I am just drawing the graph setup over here for the distillation, and I am just putting the solution A and B, which is a mixture of component A and B, A plus B. Okay, and I am just assuming A is more volatile and B is, if A is more volatile then definitely boiling point of A will be less. Means A जो होगा उसका boiling point, what will happen? Boiling point will be less, because, and B boiling point more. So we can write it as the relative volatility is direct inversely proportional to boiling point of the substance. What is the meaning of these things? So if relative volatility is more, then boiling point will be less. Means that substance will get vaporized at a very less temperature. Okay, just understand one thing. Two component having component A and component B. Component A having relative volatility 1 to 3 and component B having relative volatility 2. So which will boil first? So component A will boil first. Which will exert more vapor pressure? So component A will exert more vapor pressure, in which the intermolecular forces between the molecules will be more. So in B component, intermolecular forces of attraction between the molecules will be more. Why? Because relative volatility is here less, because this molecules is not volatile. Means this is very restricted to go from the liquid phase to the vapor phase. Okay, there is a restriction due to intermolecular forces of attraction between the molecules. So component A is more volatile and it will exert more vapor pressure in the vapor phase as compared to the component B, because relative volatility for A is 3 and relative volatility for B is 2. So just understand this distillation technique. If you are going to heat this temperature, heat this solution, okay, now if component A having boiling point, I am just assuming it as 100 degrees centigrade, and component B having boiling point, I am just assuming it as 120 degrees centigrade. Now when the solution will achieve 100 degrees centigrade temperature, then what will happen? Component A will try to go from liquid phase to the vapor phase. Okay, and at the temperature of 100 degrees centigrade, this component A will get vaporized, and this will be coming in this way. Okay, just I am drawing the graph. This will be coming in this way, and we will be accumulating this in the additional vessel. Okay, and we will be accumulating. Just I am putting it over here, a condenser. Condenser is nothing, just we are cooling this vapor. Okay, nothing, just don't get confused over here what is condenser. I am just cooling this vapor over here, so you will get A. Okay, and we have separated component A and B with the help of boiling point. Okay, because component A has more boiling point, less boiling point due to relative volatility is 3, and component B has more boiling point due to relative volatility is 2. So component A will get vaporized first as compared to component B, and when the solution will get 100 degrees centigrade, then component A will get vaporized, and we will cool it over here and will accumulate in the additional vessel, and we will be able to separate the component A and component B very easily. So this was the process of distillation. It is a unique phenomenon for the separation of two and more than two component with the help of difference in the relative volatility, or due to difference in the vapor pressure, and due to difference between their respective boiling point. Okay, and now I am going to discuss about the azeotrophs. What is the meaning of azeotrophs? Because here we have seen that the component A and B, matlab alpha A B, relative volatility of A B is more than A. If relative volatility will be equals to 1, means component A and component B both will versus the same volatility, then what will happen? We can't, if relative volatility will be same, then definitely the boiling point will be nearly same. So it will be very difficult to separate both the components. So what will happen over there? So that what we will call that substance, and how which techniques we will apply to separate that component. Okay, so I am going to just discuss the azeotrophs. So what is the meaning of azeotrophs? Just understand this thing. Azeotroph, in the distillation process we have seen the alpha AB means relative volatility of component A and B was greater than 1. So it was very easy to separate. So the new topics which is going to come over here is azeotrophs. We can define the azeotroph is as it is a constant boiling mixture. It is a constant boiling mixture. Okay, means nearly alpha AB will be nearly equals to 1. Means component A and component B, if this is component A and this is component B, both will possess same volatility. Which is nearly same boiling point. So it is very hard not to click over here to separate all both these components. Now which techniques which is going to apply? Just try to understand one thing, what is happening over there. If and which types of solution will show azeotroph? So solution, so non-ideal solution generally. Non-ideal solution used to show the azeotroph. Okay, so in that condition what used to happen over there? Just understand one thing. If this is the azeotropic solution of A and B, okay, so if you want to separate this component, then definitely you have to heat. Okay, you are gonna heat over this solution. So this is a constant boiling mixture. Means if you are going to heat, they both have same relative volatility, they both have same boiling point. Then what will happen over here? If you will heat this substance, then the component A and component B both will get vaporized and both will come into the vapor phase. And again there you will get the mixture of A and B. So it is very difficult. We are unable to separate both the component. Okay, so definitely we must have to invent some different techniques for the separation of both these components. So before going to show the process of the separation of azeotrophs, just I am going to discuss over here types of azeotrophs. Okay, so already I have discussed about the definition of azeotrophs. So definition of azeotrophs was it is a constant boiling mixture. Means at a particular temperature the component A and B both will get vaporized from liquid to vapor phase, and we will be unable to separate this component. Okay, in the liquid phase and in the vapor phase they both will be possess the same composition. Means what I have discussed over here, if you are going to heat this, then definitely if you are going to see component A has mole fraction in gaseous phase is A, then in the liquid phase is XB, and XB will be equals to XA, then XA will be equals to Y. Means in the liquid phase and in the vapor phase, then in both the phases they will possess the same mole fraction. Okay, so that's why it is called as the azeotrophs. Now just understand the types of azeotrophs. So depends upon the non-ideality of the solution, because already we have studied in the non-ideal solution there are two categories. First is a non-ideal solution showing positive deviation from the non-ideality, and non-ideal solution showing negative deviation from the ideality. So depends on the non-ideal solution, the azeotroph has been categorized in the two forms. First form is that the minimum boiling azeotroph, and second is the maximum boiling azeotroph. Okay, so in the next lecture we will be discussing about the minimum boiling azeotrophs and the maximum boiling azeotrophs. Okay, so thank you for today. So my dear student, in the previous class I have discussed about all the property regarding the solution, and that was the limited to Rolle's law, Henry's law, and azeotropic solution and azeotropic distillation process already I have discussed. Now today I am going to teach you colligative property. So up to this part we have studied the qualitative applications of any solution. Okay, qualitative views of any solution. Now today I am going to teach you the quantitative properties of the solution, okay, and the quantitative property is also called as the colligative property. So try to understand the colligative property. If you have to define the colligative property, then you can define the colligative property of a solution is the property of solution which does not depends upon the nature of solute and solvent, rather than it depends upon the number of or quantity or amount of solute and solvent, okay. It doesn't depends upon the nature of solvent, okay. It depends upon the quantity or amount of the solute and solvent, okay. So you can define the colligative property. I am just writing the definition of colligative property here. The property of a solution which depends upon the quantity of solute and solvent molecules, okay. The quantity of solute and solvent molecules, okay. So there are 4 types of colligative property that you have to study in your standards for JEE Mains and NEET point of view. So I am just writing here. First colligative property is RLVP, ठीक है, relative lowering in vapor pressure, okay, relative lowering in vapor pressure. And the second colligative property is elevation in boiling point. And the third colligative property is depression in freezing point. And the fourth one is osmotic pressure, and I will be denoting it by pi, okay. So there are 4 colligative property. First is relative lowering in vapor pressure, second is elevation in boiling point, third is depression in freezing point, and fourth is osmotic pressure, okay. So we will be studying one by one each and every topic in details, okay. So first I am going to start with the RLVP. What is the relative lowering in vapor pressure? First one is RLVP, okay. So the name itself defines it is what is RLVP. So relative lowering in vapor pressure, okay. Just try to understand this concept. In the previous classes I have discussed about the preparation of a solution, how we can prepare a solution, and how we can prepare a binary solution. So the method was totally orthodox types. We are taking it A as a solvent and we are adding B as a solute, okay. So understand one thing over here, for the solution, if you are going to add B as a non-volatile solute, generally solute will be non-volatile, and generally we used to take in the solid phase, okay. So if you are going to add a non-volatile solute in a volatile solvent, okay, so we are preparing a binary solution over here. So what will effect on the addition of non-volatile solute on the vapor pressure of a pure solvent, okay, when it will become a solution. So just try to understand the things. After addition of pure solvent, just I am assuming it, the vapor pressure of pure solvent is P naught A, okay. Vapor pressure of pure solvent is P naught A, and I am just writing it pure solvent. Now if you are going to add this B, that is non-volatile solute, then it will become a solution, and after addition of solution after addition of non-volatile solute, the pressure of solution is equals to P. Okay, so just understand these things. We all have I have defined you from the Rolle's law. P is equals to P naught A XA. Okay, total pressure of a solution P, that is equals to P naught A, vapor pressure of pure solvent, and A XA, that is the mole fraction of pure solvent. Okay, XA is mole fraction of pure solvent. Okay, now, and from the mole fraction definition, we all know XA plus XB. In the binary solution, if sum of mole fraction of all the component will be equals to 1, so you can write it over here. XB is equals to 1 minus XA, and XA is equals to 1 minus XB. Just now put XA is equals to 1 minus XB in this derivation. So you will get over here P is equals to P naught A into 1 minus XB. Okay, so just derive it, P naught A minus P naught A XB. You can write it over here, P naught A minus P is equals to P naught A XB. So you can write it, XB is equals to P naught A minus P upon P naught A. Just understand this thing. Initially, when there was only pure solvent that was present in the container, and due to presence of only A, what was happening over there, the vapor pressure was exerted by only pure solvent, and that was P naught A. After addition of solute, that was B, that was non-volatile solute. Due to addition of non-volatile solute, what had happened over here, you can see it over here, XB is equals to P naught A minus PA upon P naught A. That means P naught A, we are going to subtract PA in P naught A, means we are going to subtract something in the vapor pressure of pure solvent, means after addition of non-volatile solute, the vapor pressure of pure solvent will get decreased by a factor of PA. Okay, so this term is called as the RLVP. RLVP, relative loading in vapor pressure. Why? Because relative, why we are talking it as why we are calling it as relative, because we are just measuring the decrease in vapor pressure of pure solvent in terms of vapor pressure of pure solvent. Okay, that was present initially. So relative loading in vapor pressure, you can write it as RLVP, that is equals to P naught A, मतलब vapor pressure of pure solvent minus P after addition of non-volatile solute in the pure solvent upon P naught A. This is called as the RLVP, relative loading in vapor pressure. Okay, and relative loading in vapor pressure is equals to mole fraction of the solute added in the solution, added in the solvent. So that is equals to XP. Now, if you want to expand this correlations, then you can write it as P naught A minus P upon P naught A, that is equals to WB upon NB upon Na plus Nb from the definition of mole fraction. Okay, now just try to understand these things. P naught A minus P upon P naught A, that is equals to Nb upon Na plus Nb. Now understand one thing. Already I have defined the dilute solution. For the case of dilute solution, for dilute solution, number of moles of A will be much greater than the number of moles of B. Okay, so I am just taking A as approximation over here, because in the numericals it will become very easy, and it will become very lucid thing. And in the examination, if you will see the question of mains advanced, any examination question, the question used to ask from only dilute solution. It's not going to ask about the concentrated solution, because calculation will be very difficult over here. So I am just taking approximation over here, P naught A minus P upon P naught A, that is equals to NB upon Na, and you can write NB is equals to WB upon MB, and Na is equals to WA upon MA. Okay, so just try to expand these things, then you can write it as WB NB upon WA. If it is in the gram, just convert into the kg, so you have to multiply it with 1000 upon MA. Okay, now if you want to see these things, then you will be able to understand NB upon WB. What is these things? So this was the molality, already I have defined in the previous class. So you can write it as P naught A minus P upon P naught A, that is equals to molality into 1000 upon molality into 1000 into MA. Okay, molality into 1000 upon MA. Now you can define the molality as so you can write the formula of molality from here. M is equals to P naught A minus P upon P naught A minus P upon P naught A into 1000 upon MA. Okay, 1000 upon MA. And just understand, already I have discussed you the meaning of all these terms. P naught A is mole fraction of solution solvent in the pure state. P is mole fraction vapor pressure of solution, that was the pure solvent. M was the molality and MA was molecular weight of pure solvent, or you can write it as solvent only. Okay, so that was the concept regarding the relative loading in vapor pressure. So in the examination, most of the question used to come from the dilute solution. So just try to understand the concept and the formula what I have derived over here. Okay, next topic, next qualitative property, that is elevation in boiling point. Okay, so here we have seen that after addition of non-volatile solute in the volatile solvent, what was happening over here? So there is a decrease in vapor pressure. If vapor pressure is going to decrease, then what will happen? Already I have discussed you, vapor pressure is inversely proportional to the boiling point. Okay, so just I am going to discuss the second colligative property, that is the second application part of the quantitative property of the colligative solution, and that is elevation in boiling point. Elevation in boiling point. In the previous class I have already discussed, if vapor pressure of any solution or any substance is inversely proportional to their boiling point. Okay, inversely proportional to their boiling point. Now here, if you are going to add a non-volatile solute in a volatile solvent, what was happening over here? The vapor pressure of, here it is solvent and it is non-volatile solute. What is happening over here? After addition of non-volatile solute in a volatile solvent, so there is a relative loading in vapor pressure, RLVP. Vapor pressure of the substance was decreasing. If vapor pressure is decreasing, then definitely boiling point will get increased. Okay, so the boiling point of the solution will get increased. Okay, and just understand this concept. Just if you will draw a graph of vapor pressure versus temperature, then you will see a graph like this. Okay, you will see a graph like this. Now understand one thing, for a fixed pressure, if you will see, then what will happen? This will be the boiling point of the solution, and this will be the boiling point of pure solvent. Okay, T naught B, I am just assuming it as T naught B is boiling point of pure solvent, and T naught B as this is boiling point of solution, means after addition of the solute. Okay, so if you will see the graph, so you can conclude from here, this is the graph of solution and this is the graph of pure solvent. If you are keeping the pressure constant, already I have told you, if you are going to correlate the property of a solution, then definitely either you have to keep pressure constant or you have to keep the temperature constant. So I am just keeping the pressure constant. So if you will see over here, then the boiling point of the solution is more as compared to boiling point of the pure solute. Why? Because you are going to add a non-volatile solute. Okay, and non-volatile solute used to decrease the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. That's why the boiling point of the solution will get increased. Okay, and the boiling point of pure solvent, I am just assuming it as T0B, and the boiling point of the boiling point of the solution after addition of non-volatile solute in the pure solvent, that is TB apostrophe S. Okay, now I am just going to derive a correlation between the elevation in boiling point versus molality. Okay, so understand this thing. So elevation in boiling point, you can, if you want to write the elevation in boiling point, then you can write it as delta TB, that is equals to elevation in boiling point, and that is equals to TB of S minus T0B. That is, just I am writing here, boiling point of solution, and this is boiling point of pure solvent. Okay, and how it can be prepared? So a solution can be prepared by addition of non-volatile solute in a volatile solvent. Okay, now so delta TB, that is directly proportional to molality. Okay, from the experiment it has been seen that delta P, this is totally empirical thing. You can't prove these things, this formula, because it is totally empirical thing. This was come from the experiment, and there are huge experimental data. From there we have concluded that elevation in boiling point of a solution is directly proportional to the molality. Okay, now if you want to remove the proportionality, then definitely you have to add a proportionality constant. Okay, so I am just putting a proportionality constant, that is equals to Kb multiplied with M. Okay, so elevation in boiling point is equals to Kb multiplied with molality. Okay, Kb is called as molar elevation constant. Molar elevation constant. This is also called as ebullioscopic constant. Ebullioscopic constant. Okay, this is also called as the ebullioscopic constant. Now just understand one thing. So if you want to define Kb, okay, Kb, that is molar elevation constant. If you want to define the molar elevation constant, then just understand, because it is a standard thing, and if you want to define a standard thing, then definitely you have, in the chemistry especially, what chemistry says, to define any standard thing, you have to make the condition standard. Just like in the gaseous state, you all have studied a standard temperature and pressure, STP, normal temperature and pressure, NTP. Okay, just like here also, if you are going to define Kb is a standard constant. Why? Because after addition of non-volatile solute in a volatile solvent, you are just going to make you are going to correlate change in temperature with the help of molality. Okay, so it was experimentally empirically seen that delta TB, change in boiling point of a solution after addition of non-volatile solute in the pure solvent, was directly proportional to the molality, and if you are going to remove the proportionality, then definitely you are adding a constant, that is the Kb. Okay, that is also called as the molar elevation constant and ebullioscopic constant, and you are just going to define the ebullioscopic constant. So here you can write it as Kb is equals to delta TB upon M. Just understand one thing. If delta TB is equals to 1 degree centigrade or 1 Kelvin, and if molality is equals to 1, then Kb is equals to what? 1. Means you can say, you can define the ebullioscopic constant that if you are going to add, if you are taking solvent as 1 kg and you are just going to add number of moles of non-volatile solute is 1, then definitely you can say that the molality of solution will be 1. Okay, means you can define it. Kv is defined as the elevation in boiling point of a solution, elevation in boiling point of a solution by 1 degree centigrade. Okay, elevation in boiling point of 1 molar solution by 1 degree centigrade means if you are going to add 1 molar solution, if you are going to prepare 1 molar solution, this is a 1 molar solution. Okay, इसका मतलब क्या है? What is the meaning of 1 molar solution? Means you are just going to add 1 moles of non-volatile solute in 1 kg of solute, 1 kg of pure solvent. Then if boiling point elevation is only 1 degree centigrade, then that constant will be called as the Kb. Okay, so you can define it as the elevation in boiling point of 1 molar solution. Elevation in boiling point of 1 molar solution is called as the ebullioscopic constant. Okay, so you have defined the ebullioscopic constant very easily. Now just going to correlate and another experimental result that has been given over here, that is can be asked in JEE Advanced also. Kb is equals to RTB square upon 1000 into LV. 1000 into LV. Okay, now just understand what is the meaning of all these things. R, you can say it, R is universal gas constant, and TB is equals to boiling point of pure solvent, boiling point of pure solvent. Okay, and LV is equals to latent heat of vaporization. Okay, LV is equals to latent heat of vaporization. Okay, now if you want to write this formula, just try to understand. Kb is equals to RTB square upon 1000 multiplied with LV. Okay, so just one thing I am just writing over here, LV should be in, latent heat of vaporization should be in calorie. Okay, if this will be in calorie, then definitely you have to put the value of R in calorie. Okay, the value of R in calories, and R की वैल्यू कैलोरी में क्या होती है? 2 कैलोरी के आसपास होती है. 2 कैलोरी पर मोल पर केल्विन. ओके, 2 कैलोरी per mole per Kelvin. Okay, so and TB is boiling point of the pure solvent. Okay, so Kv की relation यहाँ पे दिया हुआ है. In sometimes in the question the examiner used to ask you in the question LV is given, TB of the pure solvent has been given, then you have to calculate the Kv from here, and after that you have to calculate Kv is equals TB is equals to delta TB is equals to Kv into M. Okay, molality anything will be given over there. Okay, so you can correlate these things from here and you can solve the numerical over here. Okay, so this was the topic that was regarding the elevation in boiling point. And why elevation in boiling point? Because after addition of non-volatile solute in the pure solvent, what is happening over here? The vapor pressure of solution used to get decreased, and due to decrease in vapor pressure, already you know vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point. Okay, so if vapor pressure of the solution will increase, then definitely boiling point will decrease. If vapor pressure will decrease, then boiling point of the solution will get increased. So that was happening over here, and this is, if you can see over here, in every derivation just delta TB that is equals to Kb into M. Okay, this is totally going to depend upon the molality, and molality is equals to, already I have defined you, Nb upon Wa in kg. Okay, Nb upon Wa in kg. It's totally going to depend upon amount of solute and Wa, that is equals to amount of solvent. So the property is totally going to depends upon the number of solute and solvent particle, or amount of solute and solvent particle, rather it is going to depends upon the nature of the solute and solvent particle. Okay, so third colligative property that I am going to define over here is depression in freezing point. Okay, So third qualitative property, that is depression in freezing point. Just like elevation in boiling point, what I had discussed over there, कि after addition of non-volatile solute in a volatile solvent, what was happening over there, the vapor pressure of the solution used to get decreased. That's why boiling point of the solution will get increased. Okay. So here I am just going to define the depression in freezing point. So before going to define the depression in freezing point, just I am going to define the freezing point of the solution. Freezing point of a substance. Just understand these things. How freezing point? Just understand these things. See, this is a liquid ester. This is a substance, and which is possessing in this time is in liquid ester. Just you are going to make it. You are decreasing the temperature by any means, and it will get solidified. Okay. Here the substance used to get solidified. Okay. Here this substance was in liquid ester, and here it gets solidified. This is in the solid ester. So the freezing point of the substance is defined as the temperature or the minimum temperature of a substance at which the vapor pressure in the liquid phase is equals to the vapor pressure in the solid phase. Okay. So I am just writing the definition of freezing point over here. The temperature at which vapor pressure of a substance in liquid phase becomes equal to the vapor pressure of that substance in vapor phase. Means if vapor pressure of the substance at a particular temperature, just like understand 0 degree centigrade, is A atm, okay, and at 0 degree centigrade if solid phase का vapor pressure भी यदि A atm हो जाएगा, then that 0 degree centigrade temperature will be called as the vapor freezing point of that particular substance. Okay. So due to elevation in boiling point, already I have seen the vapor pressure of the solution is going to decrease. Okay. Vapor pressure of the solution is going to decrease. So how can we correlate the depression in freezing point due to decrease in the vapor pressure? So I am just writing over here this concept. So before going to the derivation part, I am just draw the graph. Just try to understand from the graph first. I am just representing it pictorially over here. Temperature versus vapor pressure. This is the curve of temperature versus vapor pressure. Okay. So just understand these things. I have told you that the temperature at which vapor pressure of a substance in the liquid phase becomes equal to the vapor pressure of substance in solid phase, then that temperature is called as the freezing point temperature. Okay. So just understand. I am just drawing this graph over here, and this is a graph, and this is a graph. Okay. So from the graph we can see that this is a solid solvent, this is liquid solvent, and this is solution. Okay. Just understand one thing, this is liquid phase, so graph will be like that. If it get converted into the solid phase, then definitely graph will becomes more steeper. Okay. And this is the curve of solution. Okay. After addition of non-volatile solute. Just understand one thing, I am just assuming it, this is T naught F and this is TSF. Okay. T naught F is freezing point of pure solvent, and T naught F as freezing point of solution. Okay. So if you will see, T naught F is greater than TSF from the graph. Okay. T naught F is greater than TSF. So depression in freezing point delta TF, that is equals to T naught F minus TSF. Okay, this is the depression in freezing point. Okay, so we have defined the depression in freezing point. Now just understand one thing, what had happened over here, just like elevation in boiling point, the same thing used to happen over here also. So if it was found that the depression in freezing point is directly proportional to the number of moles of the solute in the given amount of the solvents. Okay, so I can write it as delta TF, that is directly proportional to the molality, just like the elevation in boiling point. Okay, so if you are going to remove the proportionality constant, then definitely you have to add a proportionality constant, and just delta TF is equals to Kf into M. Okay, Kf into M. So here Kf is called as molal depression constant. It is also called as cryoscopic constant. It is also called as the cryoscopic constant. Okay, and another empirical correlationship that has been given, that is equals to Kf is equals to RTF square upon 1000 multiplied with LF. Okay, and if you will see over here, then R is universal gas constant. Okay, TF is freezing point of solvent, and LF is molal latent heat of fusion, and this will be also in calorie per gram, and this R will also be in calorie per mole per Kelvin. Okay, so just focus on the unit over here and each and every term relating to this formula. Okay, and now in the question what used to given, TF should be given, TF may be given, LF may be given. You know the value of R, you can calculate the KF. And if in the question number of moles of solute has been given, amount of solvent has been given, then you can calculate molality very easily. And after calculating molality, just put it in this formula. Okay, in this formula, and you will get the depression in freezing point of a solution after addition of non-volatile solute in a pure solvent. Okay, so this was the topic that was relating to depression in freezing point. Okay, so if you want to define Kf, then you can define cryoscopic constant as the increase in the depression in freezing point of a solution after addition of 1 mole of solute in 1 kg of solvent. Okay, for just understand one thing, if you are going to prepare 1 mole solution, then the amount of temperature which is going to decrease after addition of solute in the pure solvent, then that temperature, depression in that temperature, that is called as the cryoscopic constant. So this is the same definition which I have discussed in the molar depression constant. Okay, so up to this topic I have covered everything, and in the next class I will be discussing numericals regarding this, and one or last topic that has left in the solution is osmotic pressure. So in the next class I will complete the osmotic pressure, and after that I will make a video, separate video regarding limiting reagent, excess reagent. Okay, it was one of the difficult topics, so many students aren't used to understand this topic. So just go to see the video first and try to understand each and every topic. Okay, so just I will be providing you each and every consecutive video, and just see the video. This thing becomes very easy for you. Okay, so thank you today.